Hi everybody, Dr. B here. I want to tell you about your textbook and how to get it and a little bit about what you're going to be using it for and this additional software that comes with it called MindTap that you will be needing to get so that you can do some of the assignments for the course. So on our course page I have everything you need to know about this textbook and MindTap. And so I scroll down just a little bit down our home page. I have the information for getting it set up right here. All right. So before I tell you how to get that set up, let me just tell you a little bit more about MindTap. So let me jump into it. Now, I have an instructor account, perhaps obviously, and so I honestly don't know what it will look like on your screen. I'm on a Mac, and I'm using Chrome, which, by the way, use Chrome for both MindTap and for Canvas. That's your best bet for a browser. Firefox is the second best choice. Your last choice should be anything made by Microsoft Explorer, or the other new crappy one that they have. So whether you're on a Mac or a Windows PC, Chrome is your best bet. So if you don't already use that, go ahead and get yourself set up with Chrome for this course, for Canvas and for MindTap. All right, so again, I don't know how it will look for you. This is how it looks for you. Obviously, I'm pretty sure you don't have this right panel with the gradebook. So I hope you have a panel that looks something like this at least. Now, the chapters will be folding out for you as we go along here. They won't all be visible. So, for example, if I show the hidden ones right now, you'll see that chapters 2, 3, etc. They'll roll out as we go through the term. All right. So the two assignments that you're going to have for every chapter. Let me start with the more intuitive one. You'll have a chapter quiz, and I find that doesn't need a heck of a lot of explanation. No student has, I think, ever asked me how the quizzes work. So it must be very straightforward how that works. So I'm not even going to bother demonstrating that. There will be multiple choice questions randomly selected from a test bank from this text. For each chapter. I'm pretty sure it's 20 questions, and I have it set up so that you can take them twice if you want to or need to, and only the better of the two scores will count. So if you take it a second time and do worse, rest assured the better, the first one, if that's your better one, will count. Only the better one will count. I think I should have it set up so that there's one little kick in the pants when you take it. I'm pretty sure it's set up so that it won't show you which ones you got wrong if you get any wrong. So after you take it a first time, it'll show you a score, but you won't get feedback about what you got wrong or what the right answers are yet. You won't get that feedback until after the deadline, after they are due. All right? So when you take it a second time, I'm also pretty sure you get the same set of questions again instead of a whole new set of questions. Pretty sure about that, but I'm not positive, I have to admit. And you can take it a second time. Now, while I'm talking about quizzes, let me just quickly say how I recommend you do the quizzes, all right? So the quizzes are going to be different than the exams, and some other time I'll talk about exams, but I don't want to talk about that here. The exams are going to be my way to assess how well you've mastered the material. The quizzes are not really my way to assess how you're doing. These are really for you to assess how you're doing and to give you some points as we go along for doing that in a very easy, straightforward sort of way. It's open book. They're not timed. You can take them twice. Why wouldn't you do wonderfully on those? All right. So here's how I recommend doing the quizzes. Read the chapter and prepare for the quiz as if it's like an exam. All right. And the first time you take a quiz, I really, really strongly recommend you don't peek, don't cheat, all right? Don't go back and look at see how you do. Take the quiz, and don't worry about failing, all right? There's no such thing as failing a quiz, all right? I like to say, what does FAIL stand for? It stands for First Attempt in Learning, FAIL, all right? So I honestly don't care if you fail the quiz the first time you take it. In fact, I am almost heartened when I see students doing that, because it makes me think that they're doing what I'm suggesting here. Take it to see how well you are understanding and mastering the material, all right? Knowing you can take it a second time, and that first score, no matter how poorly you do, won't matter, all right? And then so then don't just take it and then, open it back up and take it the second time right away. Go back to the text, reskim the material. While you're reading it, reading it a second time, you'll recognize the topics that you had questions on. You'll be reading it and go, oh yeah, I had a question about this, and you can see, how did I do? Did I answer it correctly? And you'll know right away when you reread the material, like, oh, I got that one wrong. All right, so you'll find the material, you'll find the answers the second time you go through it that way, and that will solidify your knowledge and mastery of the material. And then finally, when you're ready to take the quiz a second time, you know what? Then have your text open and you can flip through it to see how, to verify your answer selections. All right. So take it the second time, then, with the goal of getting the questions correct for sure. All right. So that's how I recommend doing the quizzes. Now, again, how it works within this program, I think, is very straightforward. Like I said, maybe thousands of students doing this have, I don't recall a single student asking me, how these quizzes work. All right, so I'm pretty sure they, don't need me to demonstrate that to you. All right, the other thing that you'll be doing for every chapter is the first assignment, called what MindTap calls mastery training. This needs some explanation. The first time I opened it up, it wasn't really super intuitive and clear to me. What I came to realize is that it's sort of like glorified flashcards. If that's too old a technology for you, in the old days we would take, index cards, and we would write maybe a vocabulary term on one side of it and the definition on the other, and you'd have a stack of these things, and you could study them forward or backward and test yourself and randomize them, and you could go through these things and master the material that way. This is kind of a glorified set of flashcards that uses artificial intelligence to gauge how you're doing, and material that you're doing well on. It will continue to ask those questions, but not as regularly as the ones that you've stumbled upon. So material that you stumbled upon, it'll ask you again. It'll ask you that term or that topic in a slightly different way, and you'll see those come up again and again if you are stumbling with some of the items. Okay, so it kind of learns how you're doing. The other weird thing about the mastery training, that, let me just get right off the bat, is you can't do it in a single sitting. All right, so don't think like this is going to be something you just bust out of the way once and get it out and finish it. The mastery training is taking advantage of some known psychology principles of learning, the primary one being distributed practice, all right? So we all know that distributing our practice and our learning is the way to do it. Okay, if you've ever taken if you've ever been in a sport, or, learned how to play an instrument, or performance arts or something, you have practice, right? You don't just have one practice before a season or before the play or before the concert recital. You distribute your practice, okay? So learning should be and is best done that same way. Rather than cramming and doing it all in one sitting, it's best to distribute it. So mastery training and MindTap kind of forces you to distribute your practice. So when you're doing this, and I'll demonstrate in just a second, it'll be asking these questions, and at some point it'll say, okay, take a break, and there'll be a clock or something that tells you, it's about a 5-hour break. All right, so you need to know that's coming, so you can't sit down 5 hours before this is due and bust this out, because it's going to have about a 5-hour break that it is mandatory that you take. So it's best to do it maybe even overnight or something, and come back the next day and finish it. I'm pretty sure it only gives you one break. It might depend on how much you're focusing. If you're not really paying attention and you're getting lots of the questions wrong, it's conceivable to me that it might extend into more breaks, but most students, I think, it has one required about 5-hour break. All right, And there's a progress. The other kind of unintuitive thing about this is you're gonna, you're working towards mastery. You're working towards 100%. Okay, and you're gonna get points for these mastery trainings. You'll get up to 10 points possible for each chapter's mastery training. And so if you reach the 100% level, you'll get 10 points. I guess if you got 90%, you'd get 9, 80%, you'll get 8, and so on. Okay, and so it's got kind of a progress slider that's keeping track of this, and so that's how you know how well you're doing. So it's not just how many you're getting correct, it's also just the rate at which you're getting them correct, and so on. So let me jump in and show you how I think it looks. Now again, I'm an instructor, so I don't know if I see things exactly how you see it. So let's open up the mastery training, and I've already been tooling around with it. So as you can see, I'm already at the 46% level. So again, this is what I'm not sure. I think maybe this is what it looks like for you, but I'm not even 100% sure. I can't see exactly how students see what they see. So maybe you see something like this. All right. So anyway, I'm going to let jump in and continue to review. And so it first will present you some material. Okay. So here's the topic. It's about experimental method. Can you identify things? Independent variable, dependent variable, experimental group, control group, and so on. All right. So it's basically asking about the control group. Okay, do I know what a control group is? And so if I don't know it, I can click on that to get some help, and so it's going to tell me the answer. And an experiment, the set of subjects that does not receive the exploratory treatment. All right, and then you click, oh, okay, I got that. All right, now it's going on to a next question. All right, so here's kind of like the flashcard, that I was telling you about. Okay, so first is chapter 1, personality course. Personality. What's the definition of personality? If you skimmed the chapter, you'd be like, I know what the definition of personality is, and so you say, I know it, and then you can pick an answer that represents the best answer. Okay, I'm not even reading these. I'm just going to click one at random here. Okay, it's like, oh, I got it wrong. All right, and so it tells me what the correct answer is, and then okay, I got it. Now it's gonna it's going to keep track of this, hey, he doesn't know what personality is. And so if I proceed, I'm likely to see that question pop up more frequently than other questions. All right. So now we're kind of getting the backside of a flashcard as an example. Do I know this? Consistency of response to a psychological assessment device. All right. Oh, I think I know that. And so, I get these different answer, options, and I was like, oh, that's reliability, and yes, indeed it is. Okay, so great, I got it right. Okay, and I can go on to the next one. All right, so my progress slider slid up to 27%, and anyway, so it'll proceed to ask you questions like this. So it's kind of friendly, kind of simple, kind of, this, and I think you'll enjoy it. Tons of my students tell me this is really useful and helpful. All right. Now that's enough to maybe give you a little flavor for how it works. Now at some point, it's gonna it's only gonna let me get so far. It's not gonna let me do 100% of the work in one sitting. At some point, it's gonna say, okay, go take a break, and it'll show me how much time there'll be a little timer. All right, and I think usually 5 hours. There's some other options up here you can play around with. Okay, you can change some of the settings to turn audio and sound effects on and off, and volume and so on, and get some shortcuts for how this thing works and so on. So play around with it and get familiar with it. Now again, the key thing, you can't sit down and do it in one setting. All right, I get emails every semester. Close to the time the first one of these is due, and the night that these things are due, and they say, it's telling me I can't finish. I won't be able to finish this. It's like, okay, I tried to tell you, over and over again that you have to take a break, so you won't be able to sit down and do this in one sitting. All right. So, okay. Let me exit out of here and tell you a couple more things about MindTap. Okay. You can read chapter 1. All right. So that will open up an ebook. Now, MindTap comes with an ebook version of the text. Okay, so this, by the way, is the actual textbook. All right, so if you want a hard copy, in a moment I can tell you about how you can get one you can rent one or buy them for a pretty decent price, but you will need MindTap, and so MindTap is you need your own account, and it's not something that you can share. Like, theoretically you could share a textbook and or get a used copy and so on. So you need a subscription to this MindTap, and so in a moment I'll tell you how to get that and the best way to get it and the best price. Okay, but just be aware that it does include the textbook. All right, so each chapter will let you read that chapter. And students sometimes ask me, like, well, how do I read ahead? If you have the future chapters hidden, how can I read ahead if I want to? Over here, hidden in plain sight, is this little textbook symbol here, and that will open up the full ebook. All right, so I can blow this up to make it a little bit more full screen, and you have the full table of contents. You can go to any chapter you want. If you want to go read chapter 7, here's chapter 7 and the table of contents. And if you want to read about motivation, what we strive for, you can go right to that section. Okay, so anyway, it's got the full ebook, and that's always available right there, that little blue textbook. All right, there's other items on here you can play around with and see if there's anything useful to you. Speaking of flashcards, there are also just sort of electronic versions of good old-fashioned flashcards that I was talking about a moment ago. All right, so you can do flashcards if you want to do those. All right, so you can play around with it and see what other stuff is here. Some of these things I haven't set up, so there's really nothing there. There's a glossary. You can see all the terms in the textbook and so on. You can have the book read to you. Okay, so exit out of there and go back to the main menu. You can change the settings of the menu so that you can see it by weeks if you want to see it by weeks, or you can see it by chapters. And again, I assume this is how it will look to you. I don't have any idea what you have over here in your right-hand panel. Maybe you have your own grade book. I don't know. Okay, so that's MindTap in a nutshell. All right. Now, how are you going to get MindTap? Let's go back to the course page in Canvas, and right under this Let's Get You Started. In fact, you can go there and also get started. Some of that information is duplicated there, but just I want you to trust me on this. I've arranged for you for the best possible price for MindTap. There's you could go to our bookstore and pay for it there. I don't know even for sure what the price is there, but I'm quite certain it's not as good as the deal I have set up with Cengage, the publisher. So you can click either one of these two things, and they'll both kind of get you the first link. Click here for information about your MindTap subscription. I'll open that one up first. All right, so our book representative, Brandy, has set up this page and set up this deal for you. All right, so there's some information about how to get enrolled in MindTap, and you can follow those 3 easy steps, and please read that and do that. All right, so go down to the purchasing options here, and here's the deal. All right, so you can get MindTap for $65. Now keep in mind that includes the textbook, so you're getting the textbook and the ebook version of it, and the essential MindTap, which you need for at least 2 assignments, and there will be some there's some other assignments that will be in each one of those. Every chapter you'll have at least 2 things though. Okay, so you just really need it. You won't do well in this course without it. A big chunk of your grade is dependent on that. A quiz every time and mastery training for every chapter. All right, so $65 is not a bad deal. All right, these days. Okay, so let me go there, and that opens up another page. Now, this page is opening up is what I also have linked. If I go back to the course page, that second link is the page that just opened up. So, okay, that was the first page with some instructions, and the second page is kind of the purchasing page here, okay? So now let me tell you a little bit more about your options. I just told you about the $65 option. If I scroll down, there it is. Buy it for $65, all right? That's going to be your cheapest deal, all right? Now, they have other options, and the first thing I want to say right off the bat is if your finances don't allow you to do this right away, you can do a free trial for 2 weeks. Or if you're not sure if you're going to keep the course, okay? I know students sometimes, aren't sure if they're going to be able to keep or want to keep a course, and I don't want to chase you off, and I don't want to lose you. But if you want to try, you can do the trial for 2 weeks until you're sure until you either get your money for buying it or until you're sure that you're going to stay in the course. All right, so that free trial period is going to give you a trial period for what they call Cengage Unlimited. All right. Now I'll talk about that in a second. They also have something very confusingly named, very similar, called Cengage Unlimited e-textbooks. You don't want that. You don't want that. So here's a list of the two things and what's included in them. Okay, so the Cengage Unlimited e-textbooks is just that. It's just the e-textbooks. It doesn't include the MindTap. So see, look, MindTap, and they have other similar products called WebAssign and CD Now, whatever these other things are. Okay, that does not include MindTap, and you need MindTap. So this Cengage Unlimited e-textbook thing just isn't going to help you. Ignore it. Okay. If you have any other courses this summer or this term, you might want to consider getting Cengage Unlimited. In Cengage Unlimited, you get the MindTap, and you get the entire library of Cengage textbooks, all more than 15,000 books at your disposal. It's kind of like Netflix, all right? So you'll get access to anything you want to watch. Every single one of the textbooks that they have is available there, okay? Including this personality textbook, all right? And I believe for a 4-month subscription, I want to say it's about $120. So if you had 2 classes that was using the Cengage book, this one and one other one, instead of paying $65 each, the unlimited would be a better deal for you. All right. They also, you can get, I believe, 1-year subscriptions and I think 2-year subscriptions to this. So if you want to plan ahead and if you're pretty sure that you're going to have lots of Cengage books, the Cengage Unlimited subscription might be the best deal for you in the long run. Okay, but again, that's your decision. If this is your only class for right now, you might just want this. $65 will just get you MindTap for just this book. So that it comes with the book. You won't get you don't get the unlimited stuff. You won't have other MindTaps, and you won't have other textbooks. It'll just be what I was just showing you. It'll be MindTap with the ebook built right into it. Okay, so you can buy that for $65, add it to your cart, and this should be all self-explanatory. So that's going to be your best way to get hooked up with MindTap and therefore our textbook. Okay, again, you can buy access through the bookstore and maybe on Amazon and other online places. No matter how you get it, and again, I think this is your best deal that I know of. I've not seen a better deal on Amazon or anywhere else. But maybe you need to buy through the bookstore because you have book vouchers or whatever reason, you might have to get it somewhere else. You might wind up getting it somewhere else, okay? When you get it somewhere else, let me back up to the instruction page that was linked here, okay? So no matter how you wind up, getting, whether it's a free trial, whether you buy it here online, whether you buy it on Amazon, whether you buy it at our bookstore, whether somebody gives it to you as a gift, however when you get it, the way that you're going to connect your subscription to our course is going to be the same for all of you. All right. So you'll need to link the two so that your grades in MindTap automatically migrate over to the gradebook in Canvas. So the way to do that is to follow these instructions, okay? And basically what they're telling you to do is on the Canvas course page, at least the first time once you've purchased it, the first time you do this, in fact, another way that you can do all this, what I just showed you, was to click here to open, Cengage, all right? I'll click on that and show you. So this is what it should look like. You'll get this annoying little window, this extra tab that opened up with this worth. I'm sorry, I don't have any control of this. You just have to click on that button, and then another window tab will open up, and you should get this kind of a screen. So you'll sign in if you already have your account, or if it's your first time, you'll create a new account. Okay, so if this is, again, one way you'll be able to purchase the book, or if you've already purchased it, you just first need to create your account. So go ahead and create your account and follow all the instructions here. When you create your account, just do yourself a favor and use your UC email. Okay, don't use your Gmail or your own personal email address. It'll work, but you'll just have best luck if you just keep them together. So your UC stuff. Okay, so use your UC email. All right, and once you've done all this, and once you have created your account, it will then be linked to that course page again. If I go back to that course page, from then on, when you click on that, it will open up essentially what will look like this. It'll open up the MindTap window. Okay, from then on. All right, and again, if you bought it through the bookstore, and it might tell you that it might tell you that the instructor needs to give you an access code. Ignore that. I don't have access code. There's two ways Cengage has to do this. Our way is to have, our course is linked to MindTap. So once, you just need to get your account linked to the Canvas course page. And the way to do that, and the only way to do that, is by just clicking on any one of these links inside of my course page. That one works. Or as you'll see, if we scroll down the home page, we have every chapter and every week here. Okay, so for every chapter, I have another page that opens up. And you just go to that. So go to chapter 1 page, and here's a page for chapter 1 with some stuff, the overview and the outcomes, and tell you what the readings are. There'll be periodic videos and things for you to do, some resources. I'll have PowerPoints that you can look at or download, and so on. And anyway, in the assignments, there will always be links here to the mastery training and the quiz. Okay, and show you the due dates. All right, so there will be multiple links within the course page that will take you to MindTap. At least the very, very first time, at least one time, you must click on one of my links to open up MindTap. That then will build the bridge between the two, and then from then on, anything you do in MindTap, those grades will migrate over to Canvas automatically. All right, if you never link the two, all your work in MindTap will sit there trapped, and I'll never know about it. You'll have zeros in Canvas. All right, so the first time you click on one of these links, it will build the bridge, and it will be there forever. From then on, you can use a bookmark or a web address, and you can go directly into MindTap, and you don't have to go through Canvas beforehand. Okay, but at least once you must do that. If anything is telling you to ask for an access code, ignore it. When you click on one of the links in the course page, that's what will build the link, not an access code. Forget access codes. Okay? All right, there's tons of ways, okay, to get into MindTap. Another way is to go to the syllabus page. And the syllabus page will have the syllabus will open up here, pokily. All right, but below the syllabus is a handy dandy calendar, if you will, of everything that we're doing this semester and when it's due. All right, so look, here's the your chapter 1 mastery training link, your chapter 1 quiz, and so on. All right, that chapter 2, chapter 3, the exam, so you can see, here's a handy way to see, what day every assignment, every exam is, and what time it's due. All right, so this is a And if I ever change anything, it will be changed here also. So this will be always an accurate, if I don't make any mistakes, this will be the accurate best way to see what's due and exactly when. All right. All right. Another way to do it is in the assignments area. So click on assignments, and now they're going to be divvied up by either date, okay, or you can sort them by type, okay. And I have different categories and how much of your total course grade. So MindTap trainings and other miscellaneous assignments are going to account for 15% of your grade, and here they all are. So those are links that can take you to them. Tells you how many points, what day and what time they're due. All right, the 4 exams are going to be worth this much of your grade. The lowest one gets thrown out. That's what the rule is there. All right, those chapter quizzes are worth 17.5% of your grade, and there's all of the chapter quizzes. You have another presentation that you're going to do worth 10%, and your attendance. I'll talk about all these things another time. So attendance is the remaining 5%. Okay, so that's yet another way to get all of your assignments and these links to MindTap stuff. Okay, so I think between either the home page or the syllabus page are going to be your, those to me are the best organized ways to do it. The home page again is just, we're going to be plowing our way down the home page, and by weeks, week 1, week 2, week 3, etc. Okay, so and again, as always, another way to get into MindTap always will be, when I go to MindTap, quite frankly, this is how I do it. I open up Canvas and I click here, pop that, and it goes, open up the MindTap window. Okay, so anyway, awful lot there, a lot of details. So get yourself set up. Again, use the free trial period if you need to. $65 for MindTap, which includes the ebook. Try all that out. I got other links here. I like to think it's all right here on the course page. So 9 or maybe even 10 out of 10 times, if you have a question about something, it's going to be somewhere on the course page. I got the details and the information all in here in various places. Okay, so don't be afraid to look around. But of course, hit me up if you have any questions. Okay, so anyway, hope that helped. See you next time.